You know, we're just trying to make sure that we're ready, for what the season's going to hold. You know, we talk a lot about the process. What does the process entail? Well, that means we want to be prepared. Well, how does that work? We want to make sure that we're getting after it in the weight room. We want to make sure that we're showing up on time to things, that we're putting in our best effort every night. We're competing against ourselves every time we step out on the field and trying to be the best that we can be. So, you know, we just want to make sure that we're playing the game the right way and doing the things that we need to do to be successful. And if we do those things, you know, in the end, I think we will have some success.
So, at the beginning of the season, Coach Rinker charged us with coming up with like goals for like us individually, but also like us as a pitching staff. And also like trying to come up with an identity for our pitching staff. And this is like really just focused based on like pitchers and whatnot. But going into this, I had like some personal goals for me personally. Over the summer, I feel like I like rediscovered the love for baseball again. Because the last 2 years had not gone so well for me with like injuries and like even like performance on the field. And so my goals going in were to like keep the love for the game, but B, just go out there and shove it. Like there's no other way. And that's the like attitude I have on the field is like, I don't care who you are in the box, is like, I'm coming right at you. So those are the two biggest personal goals for me. Not numbers, not anything like that. It's two very like mental things. Is just, you know, keep loving the game and just go out there and shove and have that mentality.
Well, me as a player, I like to focus on just making sure that I'm mentally prepared for every stage of the season, whether that just be me on the bench, me getting a pinch hit, me starting, or just in practice. I just want to be ready mentally to be in that spot, because that oftentimes that's where players get caught up, is like they're not mentally prepared for it, and that tends to throw them off. Collectively as a team, I think we need to be prepared to make the sacrifices we need to do in order to succeed as a unit. There's always, when it comes game time, you know, you want to be the star, you want to be the person who makes the big play and all that, but sometimes you have to kind of sacrifice your wants, your desires in order to let the team succeed. And I definitely think that this season we're definitely going to need that, especially later down the stretch in the conference play.
For pitchers, it's a lot of commanding the strike zone with our fastballs, being able to just attack hitters, always get on top as much as possible. And I believe for our hitters, it's to be prepared to run in any situation, to wreak havoc on the base paths, and just do everything we can in our power to end up on top.
I mean, I'd say this year we want to like finish more games off. I feel like last year, you know, we gave up a lot of games that we should have won, and that put us in a tough like situation going to the conference tournament. You know, like we lucked out with Principia losing at the last minute, but I mean, I think this series we need to finish more games off, and like as pitchers, we get to pound the strike zone more.
Preparation for the team, I feel like from my perspective is just I need to be there for the team and stuff like that, because I'm not going to be playing this season because I'm getting surgery on my arm, And so and my role is to just be there for the team and do what I can, even though I can't be out there with the guys.
So I took over the lifting part of the baseball aspect, I'm going to say third week in January, once we started practice. And I've learned that some of these guys don't even know the very basics of lifting, so we had to start at very level 1 and tear back the skin and go back down to the basics. So right now we are in the basic process of learning the 5 big movements, which is a squat, a deadlift, a hip hinge, a push, and a pull. So we're lifting Monday mornings, and usually Friday mornings. Today we lifted on Saturday morning because we were off because of the rain. And then I give them a lift or two in between the week. And this is not just for them to get stronger, it's for them to be ready to go once it comes May. Programs nowadays are lifting 2 to 3 times a week, some maybe 4, depending on what the week looks like, because it keeps your body ready to go and it keeps your body healthy once 4 months down the road, once we're in May and conference tournament. It really shows. I've seen it throughout the years of teams that work out and teams that don't work out throughout the season, because teams start getting weak, guys start losing muscle tone, they start losing weight, and everything just starts breaking down. The whole lifting aspect in the season is to keep the body in shape and ready to go for game day. I know major league guys, they lift probably 4 times a week. Why can't we do that? That's the whole process on that.
Yeah, in the fall, we want to do a lot of evaluation. We're trying to evaluate how guys are going to slot in and how they could potentially help us. And then in the spring, we're evaluating what they've done over the course of the off season. We're evaluating what our team looks like. We're trying to prepare for ball games. We have to get hitters out on the mound, and we have to have quality at bats at the plate, and we put all those things together, and hopefully it'll add up to some wins. But in the spring, it's much more about preparing for an actual ball game. In the fall, it's about preparing for that long haul. How do we prepare to play 40 games? We need to be in the weight room. We need to make sure that we have a plan on the mound. We have a plan at the plate. So it's really talking about philosophy in the fall, and in the spring, it's about implementing philosophy.
When you get into the fall, you've already played. It's the same year that you've played already a spring season, you've played a summer season, you're coming into the fall, and you've had a whole summer to work. To work, to improve, and actually play games. And that's something you don't really get when you go into the spring season. In the spring season, you're cold. You haven't had a game in months, and you're completely, sometimes it feels like a new experience. Like, whoa, this is a game? I haven't dealt with this in like 4 months. So that's the first big difference, is you're already coming into that, because like in the fall, it felt natural to be out there on the field. Let me tell you, it felt like, oh yeah, I've come out to the field practically every day in the summer, and so it's just kind of normal to be out here and playing a game. But in the spring, definitely, the first time that I'm going to take that field, I'm telling you, it's going to be a little bit like, whoa, I haven't been out here on a game sense in months. That's the biggest preparation. Is you're not coming from a place of I've played regularly every day. You're coming from a place of I haven't played at all, and all of a sudden here I am in the midst of a season and I have to be ready.
Fall, it seems more like it's just getting you those reps ready to go, to kind of get prepped for going into your off season, so you have an idea of what you need to work on. And then like coming into the season, you should have already had it worked out on what you need to work on, and what should have already been fine-tuned, to where there's much less to do during the season, to where in season you have very small changes to make, if any, that you're already going to be game ready. You're not going to have to go through and make all these different changes.
Preparing in the fall is interesting, because you're on your own, and you're throwing, or you're in a summer league and stuff like that. So technically anything after May is like preparing for fall. and you're just kind of going through and doing your throwing programs, and you get back in, and then you're preparing to like face your teammates in inter-squad scrimmages. But preparing for the spring is really like you're preparing for war, because you're preparing with your guys, and you've got this like 30 whatever game season it is, this mountain that you've got to climb, and you're preparing with the guys that you're going to be fighting beside for months or whatever it is in the off season. Like ever since you step on campus in the fall, you're preparing for the spring. But yeah, I think that's how I would say it's different.
Yeah, I don't know that there's necessarily a theme right now, but we've talked a lot on the pitching side, at least, about, we just want to make sure that we're taking care of business, that we're taking care of one another, that we're holding each other accountable, that every single night we bring it, that we have high intensity and high energy. We've talked a lot about intent. What is our intent on the mound? We're trying to blow hitters up as far as getting after them. So, we've talked a lot about just being process oriented and giving our best effort every night.
Yeah, so the process right now, I would say, is just creating a culture to where we can count on our guys to work out and do baseball specific stuff on their own without us being a dictator on it. We want them to want to do it and control the aspect of when a senior or a junior puts it in the group message that, hey, I'm going to hit, there's 4 of the guys that are going to go join them. Or, hey, I'm going to go lift, who's joining me today? There's 5 guys show up at the weight room. That's the kind of culture we want to build right now, where we're going to work harder than everybody else. We're here for a reason, is to play baseball and to get a major and graduate. But the whole process of working hard as a team, not just 20 out of the 40 guys. I want all 40 guys working at the same pace.
I mean, we've talked about the book of James, but we haven't really came up with a full theme yet. But I think as the season goes on, it'll come into play on its own. God works in mysterious ways, so I feel like that we will have our own theme coming up shortly that will kind of be our stepping stone for our season this year.
I really like our team chemistry right now. I think we're a pretty tight-knit group at the beginning of the season, because this is how it always works with teams that I've been on, is that you start out at some place wherever you're at, unity wise, and then by the end of the year you've all come together and you're ready for postseason and stuff like that. We've been famous for the Pilkoff hashtags and stuff like that, and then I just put one out there. It was G Unit, and because I think that's kind of our identity as a group. We're all pretty like-minded in a sense, and we all get along, and I can really see that it is one body taking on a season this year. I think that's the kind of vibe that I get from our team going into this season.
I'd say for the fall coming in, that's obviously when the coaches get to see what we've done over the summer and what we're going to be able to provide for the spring. And I feel the spring preparation is more of hitting on the more fine details. So the fall is actually truly preparing us, and then when we go into our winter training and stuff and preseason, that's more for are we are going to be able to run plays better and stuff. So
yeah, so I feel the fall is a lot for reps, just to kind of see what you have worked on over the summer, because the summer does play a big part, but the fall also does play a big part of how have you progressed over the year, and to see what the underclassmen can do, because the age of from 18 to 22, that age range, there's a lot of developing that's going on. So in that 4 months time that they haven't seen you, a lot could have changed. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got some new guys that have come in and done a really good job early on here. You know, a couple guys have really stepped up on the offensive side, and it's made us evaluate our team a little bit differently. And you know, the other good thing though is we've got a lot of young guys that have really pushed some of the older guys in their spots. So you know, that's good. That's what we want. We want a team that pushes one another and is going to strive to make each and every one better, and I think that's what we've done, and I think that's what the new guys have done a good job of so far.
Dude, I'm ready to get back onto the field. I am itching at like the opportunity to like put my spikes on and just go out there and not only like do it like for myself and like the great feeling that it is to like go out there and just shove, but like to like go out there and have to go out there and have success with my teammates. That I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that to be here.
You know, each year's different, right? You know, every year's different. I just think that if we've prepared ourselves, you know, we can have a successful trip. We go down there, we're going to play some really good teams. I mean, I looked, did the math. The teams that we play down there were about 30 games above 500 last year combined. So, you know, we're going to play some good teams. You know, I think we have a chance to be a pretty good team. If some things go our way, you know, obviously you got to have some breaks, but if you're a good team, you're going to make your own breaks. And so I'm anxious to see how this team does getting out onto a real baseball field. You know, we've played 8 games so far. They've been on turf, so it'll be interesting to see how we react to being on grass and dirt. But you know, I think we're up to the challenge. You know, I think we're ready to get after it and get into some nice weather and play some good teams and see what kind of team we can be.